Hello, and welcome to Learning Support Math at Volunteer State Community College. This video applies to students in Math 0810, 0820, and 0830. The first thing you need to do is log into mylabsplus. Some of you may have taken a math class at Vol State before, and so you may be familiar with MyMathLab already, but things have changed a bit. mylabsplus is how you will get into MyMathLab, which is where you'll find the videos, ebook, homework, quizzes, tests, and practice problems, so it's pretty important. The website that you need to type in is volstate.mylabsplus.com. Now, you need to sign in, and an account has already been created for you. If you've used MyMathLab before, that login ID is no longer applicable. This is a different system, although it still takes you to MyMathLab, it's a different system. Your username is your Vol State email address, and your password is currently the same thing. So you'd want to change that as soon as you log in, and we'll do that in a second. So, if your name was Jane Cobb, then your Vol State email might be jcobb@volstate.edu, or jcobb1 or jcobb2, depending on how many jcobbs there may be already in the system. And your password would be the same thing. Now, if you're not sure what your Vol State email address is, this first part, in this case jcobb, is the same as your login ID to the Vol State portal, which is probably how you registered for this class. However, if you're still unsure, then stop this video and watch the other video entitled "What's My Vol State Email Address?" or ask your instructor or contact tech support at Vol State. Once you've logged in, you will see a page that looks somewhat like this. I've logged in as Pete Melvin because that happens to be my name. And you should see the name of your course. If you don't see the name of your course here, then you need to contact your instructor and figure out why it's missing. Now, the very first thing we need to do before we get into the class is go over to My Profile over in the top right of the screen and change your password. Once that's done, we're ready to click and enter the class and look at the assignments. So I'm going to log into Math 0810, and you'll see a list that looks something like this. You won't see quite all of the tools that I have because, again, you're not an instructor. But over here on the left, you'll have access to your homework and your quizzes and tests and all of that. But before we get in there, we need an access code. If you've already purchased a MyMathLab access code from the Vol State bookstore, and it would have come with the student organizer notebook, then you can skip this next step. But if you have not purchased that yet, if you are waiting for the funds, if you're waiting for your financial aid refund check to come in, then you can get a free temporary access code that will be good until September 12th. So you will have a couple weeks to locate the funds to purchase the permanent access code. So if that's you, you're going to look over here on the left for temporary access. You click on that, and you see a randomly generated temporary access code. Now, this, you could write this down and type it back in, but the simplest thing to do is going to be to highlight it and Control-C, copy it. Then you're going to go over into the homework. You really could probably click on any of these, but we're going to click on the homework because that's where we're going to start. And when you click on that, and you click Do Homework Assigned by Your Instructor, the first thing that's going to pop up for you is an end user license and privacy agreement. So you'll see something like this, and you'll read through it very diligently and make sure you read every single word and every single legal statement in here. And then you click I accept. Now, once you have clicked I accept, you'll be prompted to either enter in an access code or purchase one now. So you will have to paste that temporary ID that we just copied, or if you do already have a purchased access code, you will type that in that prompt. You can also buy an access code directly from Pearson, the publishing company, at that point. However, since you will need the student organizer notebook, it's a required part of this course, you're encouraged to just go ahead and buy that notebook from the Vol State bookstore with the MyMathLab access code bundled with it. Once you've entered in an access code, either temporary or permanent, you can see the list of the homework assignments. Now, before we can get started on the homework, we actually have to go over to quizzes and tests. So we just click this button right here. And we have to start with the diagnostic test. Now, the diagnostic test is going to show us if you need to start in Competency 1 or if possibly you're able to skip Competency 1 and go right into Competency 2, or maybe even farther than that. Now, you're in this course. You're not expected to know the material in this course yet. That's why you're here. And so we do not expect most students to be able to pass this diagnostic test. So please don't be discouraged by this. This is just to confirm that yes, this is where you need to be, or maybe, oh no, you don't need to be in Competency 1. You can skip ahead to Competency 2. So take the diagnostic test, do your best, and if it says that you're not ready to move on beyond Competency 1, then you start at the beginning, which is where you're expected to start. So after you finish that, you will go into Multimedia Lectures 8.1. That's the first multimedia assignment. You click on that, and you'll have a link here to the first video and a link to the ebook for section 8.1. While you're doing this, you'll want to take out your student organizer notebook and work through the first section in that notebook. It's going to ask you for definitions and work through some examples and all of that, so you use the video and the ebook to help you fill those in. Once you've completed this multimedia assignment and you've completed the section in the organizer notebook, then you'll be ready to do homework 8.1. But since I haven't finished Multimedia Lecture 8.1, it's not going to let me into those questions in 8.1. If I click on it, this window pops up and says prerequisite warning. I haven't done Multimedia Lecture 8.1 yet. So there you go. Since I'm the instructor, it's going to let me continue because I'm special. But you, the student, as special as you are, you don't get to continue through this. It is going to make you go back and do Multimedia Lecture 8.1 before you move on. But that's basically how you navigate through things. Once you've done homework 8.1 and answered the questions in there, then of course you'd go back to the notebook for 8.2 and watch the video for 8.2 and fill all that in, then do homework 8.2. Eventually you're going to get to the first quiz. So you go back over to quizzes and tests, and that's where you find quiz 1, which is over sections 8.1 and 8.2. Pay attention to your schedule, which you have access to. It gives you a pacing guide. You can also go over here and click on show all, and that'll show you the homework and the quizzes, although for some reason it jumped to right in the middle to assignment 21. So I'm going to go down here and go to previous. Diagnostic test, of course, is the very first thing. Then the multimedia lectures, homework 8.1, 8.2, and then we get a quiz. A couple more homework assignments, and then we have another quiz, then we have a practice test and our first post-test. And once you've done post-test 1, you're a fifth of the way through the course. So that's your introduction to mylabsplus and MyMathLab. And if you have any questions about any of this, please contact your instructor. They will be happy to help.